back home. I've been away for 3 days, I think. 3 days. Doing things that I need to get done. And got back to a huge snow dump, which flattened out another chunk of fence, which made the horses escape. So as soon as I got home last night, I was trying to round up horses and make them secure for the evening. And then I was using one of those heavy pole pounders, you know, those fence post pounders, the handheld one. And I don't know what happened to the bar, one of my chainsaws. Broke the chain, you know, hold on here. Sharpened the chainsaw, broke the chainsaw, got the other chainsaw, packed it all the way back out there, had to sharpen it up, feel it up, cut the shit off the fence, clean it away out of the deep snow, stand the fence up. I only had one fence pole left here, and then I got the fence pole pounder, that big chunk of iron tube, you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm going as hard as I could. Bam, bam, bam. And I went all the way up, and I guess the pole pounder came off the top of the post and went down as hard as I could, and it skipped off the fence post and drilled me right on top of the head. I'm like, okay, one of those days. Got the fence up, got the horses back. Sarah's Tahoe had a grind in the front right corner. Figured as the brake pads took it apart, went to replace the pads. It's the wheel bearing, another one. I don't have the tools here to fix it. So, it's time to take a time out and sit down here and relax and get some emails shared. Now I'm just gonna close the door over there for a minute because the goats are gonna get a little vocal and I don't need that shit right now. I'll be back in a second. All right, hopefully it's gonna be peaceful enough in here for a bit to get a good, decent run of people's voices heard, knowledge shared here, right? Now, I'm gonna remind the majority of the people listening today, I'm gonna remind you that I usually have to do a reminder of this every couple of months, I think. And it's amazing how many people miss it. But my stance on this topic is, the second you understand that this topic is factual due to having it slapped in your face and seeing it firsthand, my brain and many other brains go instantly to, why are we being lied to? Why? Why are we not being honestly informed? Why are we being lied to and misled? That's what happens to that's what's happened to me and many other people. And that's why, in a way, I'm somewhat annoyed, not thoroughly, it doesn't obsess my mind, when you see how many other people who have had this reality slap them in the face and they can't just get off that tunnel vision of this one topic and they dedicate their whole life to it. That is amazing to me. I would almost describe that as almost sad in a way, that your mind will get stuck there. Your mind will not even entertain the fact that you should possibly be frustrated that you aren't informed honestly with what's going on the face of this planet. Right? A little odd. So, that being said, you guys, I am nonstop digging for real, true, honest facts. I want all the real answers. I want all the real knowledge this lifetime has to offer up before it's over. Okay? I'm not going to accept the fact that I was just born to be conditioned at a young age to donate 5 out of 7 days of my life to doing something I don't want to do and carry on with that repetitive nature all the way till I'm dead without knowing the truth and knowing just how free I possibly could have been, or possibly knowing the knowledge and the skills that I was possibly naturally born with or deserve to know or deserve to use before this lifetime's up. There's many other things that I can come up with to justify digging and asking questions and not just staying stuck on this one topic. And like I said earlier, this topic is one of the easiest ones that I can deliver to the world to prove and show you all that we are being lied and misled to. All right, and that's what we're doing here. So for a lot of people, it seems, not a lot, but enough people to make it somewhat annoying sometimes when you sadly catch the comments or the emails. When you catch some people blowing a gasket because you're going off topic. Off topic is the topic. Off topic is the result of accepting this other topic as fact. How can you just stay stuck and be stagnant and tunnel vision on this one topic? It's not possible, right? So as I share more, and I won't stop sharing all these people because I can relate to these people who have had to sadly join joined the club of no return and have been slapped in the face with this reality. And up until now, they haven't really had too many places where they could speak freely or share their experience freely without being laughed at and smashed into the ground and people pressuring them to shut the F up, right? So that fact alone is why I'm going to persist in making sure that every single person that comes to me to be heard gets heard. That's a priority of mine. But in the meantime, I am non-stop digging to find out all the truths I can. Obviously, there's a lot more going on than just this topic. And I've been digging up a shitload of knowledge. So, for all those people who think this channel is dedicated to them, if you think I'm doing this specifically for you, for your entertainment, and I actually make you angry that I might go on other topics or share knowledge on other topics when I come across it, well, you should probably just leave. All right? Don't go out of your way to email me and show me that you're psychologically challenged. All right? This is a waste of your time. Just carry on. For everybody else, sorry about this little rant, but it has to be said every once in a while because unfortunately, I don't know why. There's a lot of people that come here and number one, they somehow think that this is about them individually. And if I don't say what they want me to say, they get angry, like I have done something to them. Sometimes it can get to be a little challenging on the patience, right? Anyway, I recently had somebody email me that they couldn't get a link or a comment through in the comments on the YouTube channel. It didn't even make it to the comments, and that happens to me too. Sometimes I've come across a comment, like I said earlier, I'll be sitting there on my phone, all of a sudden show a comment on it when I pick it up. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's a YouTube comment. And that is how I come across a comment that knee-jerks me to stick it to them a little bit. Excuse me. And when I do, I found in the past when I've used some words that aren't YouTube friendly, it automatically blocks your ability to comment on that comment you're commenting on. It just won't do it. So for all you think might be getting deleted, it's just automatically doing it because of some choice words you possibly used in that comment. Frickin' goats are shedding their goat hair everywhere. So anyway, what else? I am not unsubscribing anybody. YouTube does that nonstop normally. I don't know why. Am I deleting comments? No, I'm not deleting comments. In the past, if I've come across some absolute abusive comments, like some of the psychopaths, we have had a few psychopaths that have continually stalked this channel, and they have been deleted and blocked from this channel I don't know how many times, and they persist in getting a whole new email address again, going through the whole gamut of getting a new YouTube channel, and then they use the same profile picture and the same YouTube handle name, and they come on here and they go absolutely vile and attacking everybody here. I don't get it. There's 2 or 3 people, maybe the same people, I don't know. And they keep doing that, and I have gone out of my way to seek them out and block them when people have emailed me to let me know they're back out again. It's kind of alarming, those individuals. Don't get it myself. But anyway, I had somebody email me. I think it was today while I was having lunch, and shared something that is something else, let me tell you. And they first emailed me to ask me why their comment wasn't showing in the comment section. I let them know, and I let them know this email is a safe place to do it, and they emailed me right back with this email, and I'm going to share it with you all. And keep in mind that we have heard in the past variations of this same story from various individuals, including smoke jumpers, military people that were, I remember military people emailing us to tell us they had to go to Mount St. Helens to secure a perimeter in the middle of nowhere. Also had some firefighters who were also included in this, and these stories have been coming our way from various people who are unrelated to each other over the course of probably a couple of years. So some of you might find this interesting, some of you might not. Some of you might shake your head and go, yeah, right. Either way, take from what you will or leave it. But this is how we are going to get our straight up knowledge today, is by the people. And going and leaving it up to you to go with your intuition, your gut instincts, what you know, what you've seen firsthand, to decide whether or not this is useful to you or not. And if it isn't useful to you, all right, we'll hang out. Eventually we will come across something that's useful to you, all right? All right, that's enough babbling. Listen to this. Hopefully the camera stays rolling. Thanks, Steve. If you choose to read this on YouTube, I will leave that up to you simply because there will be no names to mention. I'll be perfectly honest with you, after finding out about these particular individuals, it sort of took the fun out of what I've been interested in since a child. I turned 57 this year and have been in many different forms of public safety in my adult career. And I agree wholeheartedly with my first source and what she told me while I was an employee at a hospital in Virginia. All right. Quote, reality is a million times stranger than fiction, end quote. Just things I witnessed in my career, I can attest to that fully. She was a retired lieutenant colonel for a special unit gifted with particular skills in linguist, telepathic, and several other skill sets that were extremely classified. The only reason I'm disclosing this now is simply because I have nothing to lose at this point in life and have never encountered what my two sources have been privileged to have been a part of. I wanted their stories to finally be told because they never had the chance or were at a point in their lives where they did not want to be considered treasonous citizens of the US and put their families at risk. Again, both these poor souls are dead and gone from our very real and strange world. Second source was also, okay, you know what I'm going to do with the second source is to you, the original emailer. I'm going to leave out your description of the second source, okay? Because there's enough in there to single out this person, and especially before you even get that email to us. So I'm going to leave out your description of the second email, okay? It's just too easy to figure out who they are, I think. All right, second source, retired, data, based in Nevada. At a base in Nevada, okay, he describes the persons, what they did, who they worked for, and then it carries on. 2, at a base in Nevada that he called, quote, City of the Zoo, end quote. All right, this is where the second email that's coming originated from. Deep underground bunker and system of tunnels that reach all the way to DC. Back to first source. She made it clear that she was fully cognitive upon telling me her story, even though she was a patient in an adult psych unit. This, of course, does not violate any HIPPA standards because they're all deceased now. She headed up the department of the special group of individuals that are very much active today. There was a master sergeant under her and a civilian Native American female that had both mastered over 12 to 20 different human languages and about 4 that were not human languages. She deployed the master sergeant along with 2 others to Mount St. Helens after the eruption in 1980. Their expertise, of course, was that of interpretation and linguist skills. The master sergeant had been working with the Native American civilian for years because she actually could interpret the language and get this, of what they referred to as the original Native Americans, hairy man, Sasquatch, and what she referred to as the disrespectful term Bigfoot. Believe it or not, she stated that they actually hate that terminology and wish to truly make it clear that they have been violated and encroached upon. Back on track. The 2 personnel and many other ground troops were there for trauma support, ground safety, and security perimeter establishment. And we've heard from those people in the past. Here. The first initial setup and safety perimeter revealed several different deceased and severely burned, what they referred to as civilian known animals, as well, as well as what the Army already knew would be their special response team deployment. 2 known established reservations set aside for the old Native Americans. Over 8 of the ONA, quote, hairy man, end quote, were airlifted via helicopters to an undisclosed airport and then to another undisclosed base in Montana. The master sergeant and the female civilian stayed and communicated with the 3 or 4 that refused to be airlifted and were treated on site. That of severe burns, lung issues, and an array of other injuries. The 3 or 4 that remained were taken to an established on-site base just outside the blast radius of Mount St. Helens. The retired colonel stated that 4 out of the 8 that were airlifted did not survive, and 2 of them were adolescents. They were all relocated to an undisclosed reservation and preserve that Teddy Roosevelt established along with the government of Canada. The main preserve is in their migration trail and is a known hotspot, but highly protected by both governments. The colonel made it very clear that one of the main statements that she remembers reading from the on-ground personnel was that of, quote, "We just want to live and be left alone," end quote. The statement came from, believe it or not, the elder ONA, that's original Native American. He was one of the ones that had to have skin grafts and therapy, but was of course taken to the relocated reservation later in 1981. He was a liaison and communicated every day with the linguist for almost a full year. They actually have several field books on how to communicate with them, but are only given to special units, and these units are sworn to abide by the security level 4, under which they swore oaths. She compared her unit to what the movie Hellboy's Special Task Force did, and said if the civilians only knew half of what she did, they would piss themselves. I remember laughing, and at the time she was telling me all this, seriously believing probably only about half, but when she later passed, I thought, holy crap, this poor old soul was serious. I'll send you other email about the underground radar, about the friend of mine when I get it typed in. I'm sure there are details that I forgot about both their respective stories. Thanks, man, for all you do. All right. Polk. Okay, man, thanks for that email. That's obviously a mouthful, right? It's obviously a bit much for anybody who just freshly came here and stumbled across this channel. It's going to be a little bit much to hear that. And to actually even entertain taking it seriously for 1 second, right? But if you are a member of the Club of No Return, meaning you've had this reality slapped into your face unrequested, and you have been looking into finding out true, honest answers for some time, then you will know that we have had smoke jumpers and military people email in about the exact same story over the course of probably a couple of years, right? I don't know what it would take to dig those up. I might be able to dig those up actually, possibly, and put them together for comparison. That's going to take a little bit of time. But anyway, there you go. There's another one, right? And it's been rumored in the past that Teddy Roosevelt, because he did make it public that he had seen and become aware of these beings. It has been rumored that he was the man who originally set aside these national parks as safe havens for these beings, right? It's been said in the past from numerous people. So, it is what it is. Take from what you will and leave it. In the meantime, this possibly helps fill in a puzzle piece for someone, right? I find it very, very interesting. And I'm at the point in my life right now, I need to hear everything. I need to hear everything from the people. I've had enough of being lied to. I don't need to go into a big rant about how we are being lied to. It's been in our face forever. How, the when, the who, and the whys. And it's quite alarming. At times you can almost feel absolutely useless because you can't fix it yourself. But maybe as long as I continually try to bring truth to everybody, from everybody, then hopefully maybe this effort will kickstart a possible movement in the future that will help make life fair again, make life fair for everybody. You know what I mean? But anyway, there you go. That's quite the email, is it not? It's quite the chunk. And if I had to make any kind of comment on it at all, I would say, well, it does somewhat fit and make sense, doesn't it? It definitely makes sense from what we've learned to this point, right? All right, so let's get a new one. Sure, I just scroll down to the notes for a ways down. So I take my break from being a mechanic and a goat sitter and a fence mender with a headache from hell. Hey Steve, thank you for your efforts to prove Bigfoot is real to millions. Well, actually, I'm not trying to prove it. Thank you for the kind words, but just let's get clear, everybody. I'm not trying to prove anything. It's already been proven. So what we are doing, what my goal is, you already know what my goal is. We're just getting everybody heard in a safe place. It's been proven. I know he is real. He chased me across the Sabine River Bridge in East Texas in 2012. I'm in poor health and had to be put on dialysis machine this year, and it sucks. I think I read this. Let's keep going. One day I met a travel nurse who came into Temple, Texas to work at the clinic. She was from East Texas, which is close to the Sabine River Bridge. We were talking about East Texas, and I told her my encounter with the big black SOB. She told me that her and her neighbors were being harassed by a Bigfoot, a black one. I told her to call the police, but she said they knew about the creatures, but they only respond to life-threatening encounters. Bigfoot bangs on the walls, tears up gardens and fences, also peeking through windows and doors. Her husband has been running them off with a rifle. They may go to the television station if they don't get help. One day, though, she saw in another county the police, sheriffs, and military were in the woods, and she heard at least 200 gunshots. The gossip is they killed 5 of the creatures, but they still get a visit from another creature. I believe her, and she is afraid for her family. Thank you so much for your program. They are real, and they're showing up more and more. God bless you, and thanks, Ray. Okay, Ray, if you could pass her on to Scott Carpenter's contact, all right, and he may be able to give them some assistance, because I'll guarantee you the police aren't. They're just not. Thanks for emailing that in. Anybody else in that same neighborhood, if you're familiar with some grief going on there and you want to share some knowledge with everybody, go ahead and email me. I'll get it out there. Here's another one. New Mexico Sabbath and a question. Hello Steve, my name is Rusty Black. You can use my name. I've been a truck driver for 10 years. I've been into conspiracy theories most of my life. Damn near tinfoil hat status, but never really got into the whole Bigfoot thing. I'd seen the available materials on the subject and was very skeptical. Almost. So that until a couple years ago, I'd have come closer to believing in flat earth than Bigfoot. My wife Penny and I were traveling with a load of salt coming south of Bloomington, New Mexico on Highway 550 at around 0100 with the cruise in 75. We had seen deer all night long, the side of the highway, and about a mile after, we had passed a group of 6 to 8 running back north along the southbound lane. We noticed up ahead on the southbound shoulder a large brownish red, what I assumed at the moment was someone out riding their horse. I'm from Texas, so that's not too uncommon of a thing to see, but not at that hour. It was a distance of maybe 40-50 yards away, pitch black out and no traffic but the occasional trucker. Now this happened quite quickly, but seemed slow motion as we barreled towards it at 75 miles per hour at a gross weight of 76,000 pounds. As I got closer, I didn't use brights ever. As I got closer, I don't use brights ever, so I don't have to remember to dim them when someone passes. I notice it's not a horse and it's bipedal. I was so transfixed by now wondering what it was I was seeing that I could not take my eyes off of it. I got closer and noticed its humanoid form and that what I thought was a horse pelt was hair. And as we passed it, bent down. As we passed, it bent down to look right in the passenger window. It bent down to look in the passenger window. It didn't seem to have a neck and its eyes were jet black. I couldn't make out any real features. I was just in shock. This thing didn't even flinch. Immediately I panically asked my wife if she had just saw that, and she just screamed at me to keep driving. After we drove far enough, my wife told me she was so scared that she couldn't bring herself to look at it. Just an overwhelming dread. I was shook for a bit, but then it kind of wore off, and I didn't think much more about it until I saw your channel and started looking at all the recent evidence, photos, videos, DNA profiles, and it clicked. They are real. Not a conspiracy anymore. On my eyes, LOL. Sorry that took so long, but it felt good to get that out. It doesn't add any new intel, so I don't expect you to share this story. I just wanted you to know that there's 2 more Texans added to the club of no return. Now for our question. My wife and I are about to start our van life adventures. Now, we watched a video a while back in which Soccer told you that they had a list of different types of sabe, including size. I think he must have meant in which someone told you they had a list of the different types of sabe according to size, color, temperament, and what states they occupy. I don't know if that person ever got around to sending you that, but that sure would be nice information to have so we don't go boondocking in a state full of cannibalistic sabe. Anyway, thank you for your time. Keep up the good fight. God bless you and yours. From me and mine, Rusty Black. Okay, Rusty. Thanks for that. That doesn't really ring a bell of familiar. That doesn't sound familiar to me about somebody having that information of where, what, and where to go, not what, whatever. Sorry, I'm bringing some reading and trying to talk at the same time. If you are concerned about your safety and you're going to start doing that type of lifestyle, you may want to possibly get out, go and have a look at what Dave Plias has got available. He has a wealth of knowledge available on missing people, where, when, how around North America. And he also has, I believe he's got some mapped out areas. And I know he does actually. I'm just not familiar with it right now. You have to get a hold of him or look into his stuff. And as well, he offers up some precautions on how to maintain safety where you think you may not be safe, all right? Mapping out a map of where these things are, I don't think that's gonna do too much to help your personal safety. I don't think that it makes much of a difference to know exactly where all the Sasquatch sightings are. That's just me though, from what I've been learning. But good luck out there, and just think, when previously you just said you don't expect me to read your email because so many have been similar, I rarely pre-read them, obviously, right? My attitude is everybody gets a turn. Everybody gets a turn here. Dear Steve, first, my apology for sending clips from your videos. I was new to the channel and didn't know your amount of emails and views and the stuff going on behind you. I'm not a tech savvy at all. Again, I didn't mean to clog your inbox. My name is Dead Towel, and I can use my name because I have nothing to hide or fear. Now on to my experiences. In 1976-77, I was visiting my cousin in Rockaway Beach, Missouri on Lake Taneycomo in the Ozarks. I was 6-7 years old. I was in the restroom taking a thank God, when something ripped the screen door off the hinges and threw it about 30-40 feet away next to the edge of the woods. My cousin's house is on the opposite side of the lake from the Rockaway. You could only get there by boat. It was on the side of a mountain. I was the only one on that side of the house. There was a window just to my left, behind me. Daddy and Danny both ran out, armed, thinking it was a bear. There was no bear and a severe foul odor. No marks on the screen door and no tears in the screen. I always believed it was a savage. My word, now thanks to you. I was being naughty, looking at my cousin's girly magazine. After watching you, I was talking about you and this subject at work when a fellow co-worker gave me a new perspective. Maybe the savvy was trying to get me to quit looking at the magazine, LOL. My second experience is just a few months ago. I was heading home from visiting a friend in a neighboring town. My daughter Katie, who introduced you to me, had called because she heard an ambulance leave town heading the way I just left. There was nothing but prairie between the two towns. I was roughly 50 to 100 yards from the stop sign when a being crossed the two-lane road in front of me. It crossed in 3 steps. I said, "What the F?" Katie on the phone said, "What?" I explained, and she said, "Welcome to the Club of No Return." I didn't know at the time what she meant. Later that night, she introduced me to your channel. Excuse me. Oh, and by the way, I haven't watched TV in years. I have never watched any of the other individuals who broached this subject, with the exception of David Plias and Scott Carpenter, to whom you introduced me to. Anyway, the look of this was fast. It blocked all but the top 2 inches of the stop sign. I would hazard a guess, roughly 8.5 feet tall. The movement was, and I have to say, was just like what you did in your Saturday walk a couple weeks ago, with the exception, it never looked my way. The only identical things I noticed was the burnt orange / brownish color and the 4 to 5 inches of hair on its right arm. My third experience was just the other day heading home from my parents' farm. It had snowed the day before and the back road I was on was icy, going into curves by a wooded area before the river. I had slowed down to about 15 miles per hour. I caught movement to my right. I looked over and there he was. And yes, it was a he. I was going west toward the river bridge and he was going east. As he took a step with his left foot, something down there moved, and it had to have been a minimum 15 inches long. He was also that burnt orange / brownish color. I looked back to the road and back, and he was gone. This whole time lasted about 5 seconds, give or take. I also had something wake me up at 3:12 a.m., shortly after the stop sign experience, by knocking on my window, right by my head 3 times. I was too scared to look out, but I have a feeling if I did, I would not have liked what I saw. Katie and I live here alone. I sleep with a gun and have for years, but I'm not convinced it or I would have made a difference. There are several of your videos that have triggered memories that I always put down to critters. Now I'm not so sure. My granny always warned us kids about the boogeyman. I always thought it was just something to scare us kids of the night. Now I know that she was telling us about boogers, the name given by the hill people of the Ozarks. Thanks for opening up the round table of knowledge. Your videos are opening up memories. They have also made it so I will speak openly with others about my experiences besides my family. Food for thought. How can we expect our kids to honor us if we are not, I think you missed a word, but I'll try again. Food for thought. How can we expect our kids to be honest with us if we are not honest with them? I raised my children with this philosophy. Food for thought. How can we expect our kids to be honest with us if we aren't honest with them? I raised my children with this philosophy. If my kids asked, I answered honestly. I took my kids to Rockaway and showed them the house from the safe side of the lake and told them the story. Thank you, Deb Tell. Deb, thank you. Thank you for sending that in, taking your time of life to send that in. Time is precious, everybody. Good for you in informing your kids honestly. That's what we're trying to get at too, right? Got to inform the children. Got to inform everybody honestly. You know, there's a lot of people. There's friends, so-called friends of mine. They ridicule me behind my back all the time. People get ridiculed all the time when it comes to this topic. I get ridiculed lots. Does it detour me from cracking open emails and sharing? Obviously not. Does it bother me? No. Doesn't bother me at all. If anything, I feel kind of bad for a lot of people that just can't seem to, described in a rough way, give a shit. There's a lot of people that just don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about what's going on the planet today. They don't give a shit that our governments are corrupt and lie to us nonstop. They just don't care. It's bizarre to me how many people actually just don't care. As long as it doesn't, what they believe, directly affect them, well, they don't give a shit. But meanwhile, it does affect them every single day, and it absolutely affects the future of the children. Anyway, before I go on a bit of a rant, I just find it somewhat frustrating at times when, yeah, I'll save that for another channel. I'm gonna save it for the Rumble channel. I still gotta make the Rumble video, you guys. I'm babbling a little bit here, but I got a lot on the go. My brain's spinning. I've been digging and digging and digging non-stop every day and well into the night for honest knowledge today. I'm coming across lots. And so you know, each time I do get a piece that's available, and I think that a lot of you may be interested in or should possibly have the fair chance at seeing or hearing, which would possibly enable you to do a little more digging. If I come across those pieces, well, I'm going to continually share them in the community page of my channel. All right? And some of you may find that useful, some may not. I will never tell you what to think or what to take as authentic, but what I will tell you continually is take from it what you will or leave it, but make sure that you look into it thoroughly yourself. That's what I'm trying to get everybody to do with this topic and much, much more. I'm trying to motivate people to look into it yourself. Look into both sides of the coin and look into it yourself. All right? Hopefully that makes a difference. It's about all I can do really, is do that and share tidbits as I come across them, whether it comes to this topic or many other topics, and I'm not going to stop. I feel it's very, very important. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why I care at times. It frustrates me because I lose a lot of time of life in doing this, but I just can't seem to stop myself. I don't know why. But I can't. I can't stop myself from digging. I cannot stop myself from potentially either stopping or outing bullies and lying sons of bitches. I just can't stop myself. So I guess I'm gonna have to go with it. And I hope that many of you jump on that train and keep it steaming ahead as well, all right? Anyway, enough babbling. I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna load this right now, and then I'm gonna make another share. I think the next time I set up, I'm gonna try to do a video for the Rumble channel, all right? It's overdue and it's time, and it might help some people, all right? I'll be back shortly.